Alright guys, so first of all I want to say thank you, a big thank you to everyone who commented in the last video in regards to my cooling system. I did what a lot of you said, and we realised that the expansion tank is too low in relation to the top hose. You can sort of see that here, top hose is higher. So what I did was I basically took a 2 litre bottle of Pepsi, an old 2 litre bottle of Pepsi. Obviously, drank the Pepsi and then filled it with water. And I put it upside down on here, taped it here so it was sealed with the cap off, obviously. And then I cut the end off here and filled it with water. And that created an artificial high spot. And that allowed me to get water over here. Now with the engine running, this top hose, it gets pressurised, it gets really hot. In fact, it's hot now. And when the engine's running, if I release this, there's no air, there's just a nice constant stream of water, no bubbles. And again, this gets quite firm. And my temperature sensor starts to read temperature. Now, what started happening though was the engine got warm. Nothing happened in terms of this didn't overflow, it didn't boil over, or this didn't blow out a load of, hot water or anything. But I did notice that the temperature gauge rose to about here, I don't know if you can see that, but just before the red, and it stays there. The fan kicks in and everything else, and it just kind of stays idling at that just before the red, and that got me a bit worried. I thought, why is it running so hot? Is my radiator not adequate? Is the fan not adequate? Do I need 2 fans? But I did realise that this external thermostat down here is from a P38 Range Rover, and that starts to open at 70 something, and it fully opens at 90 degrees Celsius for emission reasons. Now that's kind of warm. I wouldn't really want to do that with this car, and I think that's the reason why the temperature reads so high and stops. It regulates, but it runs really hot, and I believe this is a Pinto sender, and obviously Pinto clocks in the dash. And of course, they're used to running at like 82, 88 degrees Fahrenheit. Celsius. So the fact that this is running at like 90 is probably why it's reading just under red and then not going past it, because it's running at 90 degrees Celsius. I hope. I've gone and bought myself one of these little cheeky things, which is a infrared temperature sensor. And I went around the engine and I could verify that, nothing was getting too hot. These top pipes here, we're getting to about 70, 80 degrees Celsius. Down here is getting to around 80. The heads weren't going over 90, 100 degrees Celsius, which I'm guessing is fairly, you can expect that on the outside of the heads, given the fact that there's explosions going on in there. The exhaust manifolds, of course, were getting really hot at 200 plus degrees Celsius. And yeah, I think I've done it. I just think that thermostat in there is a little bit too hot. So my options are replacing that external thermostat down there with maybe a custom made piece without the thermostat in it, and then I can put the thermostat of my choice back in the carbureted intake manifold where it usually lives. Now you're asking me, why on earth did you go for this setup? And that's because I'm running injection style timing cover with a carbureted intake, and the difference in water pump means you don't have you have a different bypass system and everything else. So it's kind of like the only way you can really get the system to work. So I'm gonna not panic anymore, and I'm gonna just sort of run the system as it is, and fingers crossed. So the next thing is fitting the headlining and windscreen.